What if I told you that almost everything you've been taught about studying is completely wrong? Millions of students spend countless hours studying every day, yet they still forget most of what they learn. At the same time, other students study less, remember more, and consistently achieve better results. The difference is not intelligence. The difference is having the right study system. Today, you are going to learn one powerful study method that works with your brain instead of against it. This simple technique helps you stay focused longer, remember more, and avoid mental exhaustion. Top students are not naturally smarter. They simply understand how learning really works. I will show you a complete study system that you can start using today. Before we dive in, I want you to answer one simple question. Have you ever studied for hours only to forget everything during the exam? If that has happened to you, don't worry. It does not mean you have a bad memory. Your brain is actually designed to learn. It just needs the right strategy. Most students believe that reading the same page over and over again is studying. It is not. Reading without thinking creates the illusion that you are learning, even when your brain is not storing the information. Your brain remembers information that it actively works with, not information that it simply looks at. That is why top students spend less time rereading and more time testing themselves. But before we talk about memory, you first need to understand how your attention actually works. Your focus is not constant throughout the day. It naturally rises and falls like a wave. Scientists call these natural patterns ultradian rhythms, and they influence how well you learn. At the beginning of a study session, your concentration slowly builds until it reaches its highest point. If you use that peak wisely, you can learn faster and remember much more with less effort. But here is the mistake most students make. They keep studying even after their brain has already become mentally exhausted. Instead of learning more, they spend extra hours staring at the same page without absorbing anything. This is called mental fatigue, and it quietly destroys your productivity without you even realizing it. The harder you push beyond your limit, the less effective your study session becomes. That is exactly why the 90-minute study formula is so powerful. It works with your brain instead of fighting against it. Rather than forcing yourself to stay focused forever, you stop before your brain reaches complete exhaustion. This allows your brain to recover, recharge, and prepare for another period of deep focus. Think of your brain like the battery in your phone. You cannot expect it to run forever without charging. The same rule applies to your concentration. Recovery is not wasting time. Recovery is part of learning. Now that you understand why this method works, let us begin with the first step of the 90-minute study formula. Every successful study session begins before you even open your book. It begins with a clear destination. Imagine trying to drive across the country without knowing where you are going. You would waste time, fuel, and energy. Studying without a goal works exactly the same way. You stay busy, but you make very little progress. Before every study session, take 5 minutes to decide exactly what you want to accomplish. Do not write something vague like study biology. That goal is too broad. Instead, create a goal that is specific and measurable. When your brain knows exactly what success looks like, it becomes much easier to stay focused. Clear goals reduce decision-making, and that saves valuable mental energy. Instead of asking yourself, what should I study next, you already know the answer. That simple habit keeps your attention on learning instead of making decisions. Here is a simple example. Instead of saying I will study math today, write solve 20 algebra problems. Instead of saying I will read history, write read chapter 5 and summarize the key events. Specific goals make your progress visible, and visible progress keeps you motivated. Every completed task gives your brain a small sense of achievement that encourages you to keep going. That is why successful students break big goals into small, manageable pieces. Once you have a clear goal, the next step is creating the perfect environment for deep focus. Your environment can either help you concentrate or quietly destroy your attention. Every notification steals your attention, even if you only look at it for a few seconds. When your attention breaks, your brain needs time to become fully focused again. That is why successful students remove distractions before they begin studying. Keep only the materials you need for your current task on your desk. A clean workspace creates a calm mind, making it easier to stay focused. Now it is time to enter the most important part of the 90-minute study formula, deep focus. Deep focus means giving one task your complete attention without switching to anything else. No checking messages. No scrolling through social media. No jumping between different subjects. Your brain performs best when it solves one problem at a time. Multitasking may feel productive, but it actually slows your learning. Every time you switch tasks, your brain wastes energy trying to refocus. Imagine trying to run a race while changing your shoes every few minutes. That is exactly what multitasking does to your brain. Deep focus is not about working harder. It is about protecting your attention from unnecessary interruptions. During your deep focus session, your goal is not just to read the material. Your goal is to actively learn it. Passive reading feels comfortable, but comfort is not the same as learning. Real learning happens when your brain is challenged to think. Ask yourself questions while you study instead of simply reading each page. Pause after every important idea and explain it in your own words. If you cannot explain it simply, you probably do not understand it well enough yet. This technique is called active learning, and it is one of the fastest ways to improve understanding. Another powerful method is solving practice questions before looking at the answers. Making mistakes is not failure. It is one of the fastest ways for your brain to learn. Every mistake shows you exactly what needs more attention. The goal is not to avoid mistakes. The goal is to discover them before the exam. Every corrected mistake becomes knowledge that is much harder to forget. That is why top students spend more time practicing than rereading. Remember, learning is not measured by how many pages you finish. It is measured by how much you can remember without looking. And that brings us to one of the most powerful learning techniques ever discovered, active recall. Active recall is simple. Instead of reading the answer, you challenge your brain to remember it on its own. Every time you successfully recall information, the memory becomes stronger. Think of your memory like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. Simply reading your notes again does not give your memory the exercise it needs. Instead, close the book and try to remember everything you just learned. Do not worry if you cannot remember everything the first time. That is completely normal. Every attempt teaches your brain what is important and what still needs practice. Flashcards are one of the easiest tools for active recall because they force you to think before seeing the answer. Practice quizzes work the same way by helping you retrieve information instead of simply recognizing it. Recognition feels easy, but retrieval is what truly builds long-lasting memory. The more often you retrieve information, the easier it becomes to remember it during an exam. This is exactly how top students prepare without spending endless hours studying. They do not study longer. They study smarter. Now that you have challenged your memory, it is time to strengthen it with one final review. The last few minutes of your study session may be the most important of all. Many students close their books the moment the timer ends, but that is a huge missed opportunity. Instead, spend the last 10 to 15 reviewing what you just learned. Start by asking yourself one simple question. What are the 3 most important ideas I learned today? Summarize those ideas using your own words instead of copying the textbook. Writing a summary forces your brain to organize information into something meaningful. Next, test yourself one more time without looking at your notes. Whatever you cannot remember becomes your priority for the next study session. This simple habit prevents weak areas from becoming major problems later. Small improvements made every day eventually produce extraordinary results. Now your study session is complete, but one final step remains before you begin again. The recovery break is not a reward for studying. It is part of the learning process itself. Your brain needs time to process and strengthen the information you have just learned. That is why taking a break actually improves learning instead of slowing it down. The secret is choosing the right kind of break. Not every break helps your brain recover. Some breaks actually make it harder to focus again. One of the best things you can do during your break is simply stand up and walk for a few minutes. Light movement increases blood flow to your brain and helps you return with better focus. Stretching your body can also reduce physical tension after sitting for a long time. Do not forget to drink water because even mild dehydration can affect your concentration. If you are hungry, choose a light snack instead of heavy fast food that makes you feel sleepy. Listening to calm music can also help your mind relax before the next study session. But there is one mistake you should avoid during every study break. Do not open social media thinking you will only spend a minute because it rarely ends there. Your short break can quickly turn into an hour of endless scrolling without you noticing. When that happens, your brain becomes overloaded with new information before it has recovered. Instead of feeling refreshed, you return to your desk feeling even more distracted. Choose breaks that restore your energy instead of stealing your attention. When your break ends, you will feel mentally refreshed and ready for another 90-minute session. By repeating this cycle, you can stay productive for hours without feeling completely exhausted. This is how consistent progress is built, not through endless studying but through smart and sustainable learning. Now that you understand the complete 90-minute study formula, let us see what a full study day actually looks like. Your first session should always begin with your most difficult subject because your brain has the highest energy at the start of the day. Use your strongest focus when it matters most instead of saving your hardest work for the end of the day. After your first study session, take a proper recovery break before starting the next one. Repeat the same process during your second session by setting a clear goal and protecting your focus. By lunchtime, you will already have completed several hours of meaningful learning without feeling mentally drained. After lunch, give yourself enough time to recharge before beginning your final deep focus session. Your final session is the perfect time for review, practice questions, or completing assignments. By the end of the day, you will have studied with purpose instead of simply spending more time at your desk. That is the real difference between being busy and being productive. Remember, success is not created by one perfect study day. It is created by repeating good habits every single day. Small improvements may seem invisible today, but they become life-changing over time. One focused study session may not seem extraordinary, but hundreds of them can completely transform your future. Your future grades are shaped by the choices you make today, not by luck. The best time to build better study habits is not tomorrow. It is today. Imagine where you could be 1 month from now if you completed just one focused 90-minute session every single day. Now imagine what could happen after 6 months or even 1 full year of consistent practice. Great results are never created overnight. They are built one focused session at a time. Remember, you do not have to study longer than everyone else. You simply need to study smarter. Set a clear goal. Focus deeply. Review what you learned. Take a real break. Then repeat the cycle. These 4 simple steps can completely change the way you learn and help you remember more with less stress. You already have everything you need to become a better learner. The only thing left is to begin. Do not wait for the perfect moment because the perfect moment is the one you choose to act. After this video ends, choose one subject, set one clear goal, and complete your very first 90-minute study session. Do not try to change everything at once. One focused session today is far more valuable than endless planning. Every expert, every top student, and every successful learner started with a single decision to begin. Your future self will thank you for the effort you choose to make today. If you found this video helpful, make sure you put this study method into practice because knowledge only becomes powerful when you use it. And if you want more science-backed study tips and productivity strategies, you are in the right place. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, share this video with someone who wants to study smarter, and leave a comment telling us which study technique you are going to try first. I will see you in the next video.